This is a copyrighted audiobook production of Music, Silence, and Noise, authored by Mohammed Saad Riaz. All rights reserved.
Music, Silence, and Noise. Chapter 1. Listen. Know, believe, act. Not he who has many ideas, but he who has one conviction may become a great man. Chutverse. Why do you choose to become a teacher? This is an important question. It is significant that you establish your driving force. Take a moment and think about it. What purpose drives you to become a teacher and guides you through it? Is it a necessity of life, a compulsion, or maybe a self-imposed timeline? Take a moment to think about the circumstances, emotions, and values guiding you through your profession and keeping you consistent. You are one of the most fortunate people if you find what your purpose is. Not everyone is lucky enough to have this clarity of purpose. The Prophet Muhammad said that if Allah intends good for someone, He blesses that person with an understanding of deen, which is essentially the system, laws, design, and the balance of life. If you are capable of recognizing that balance of life, you are the lucky one. The true understanding of giving and taking in life is directly connected to this epiphany. You have been given this life for a purpose. When your Creator wishes growth for you, He provides you with the guidance. He bestows upon you the gift of revelation and the ability to see the unseen and hear the unheard. He grants a moment of epiphany, and things start to look clearer. The anxiety of seeking also begins to satisfy by then, and you start to get the answers. The most important one is the purpose of your life. Without this purpose, what could otherwise be service or worship becomes trivial and pointless. The teaching profession is no different. Our happiness, focus, and vision branch out from our innermost core, our Nawah. It is an assemblage of our beliefs. It conditions our intentions. It gives meaning to why we do what we do. Why do we learn, read, or speak out something? Similarly, when we receive new information, we process it only in the context of our Nawah. We deduce our experiences in the light of our beliefs, so we need to work on our inner core such that our purpose radiates from it. Once the knowledge renders into our inner core, it transmutes our intent. Thereupon, intentions unknowingly translate into our actions or inactions. You may call it a force, potential energy, a calling, or raison d'être. It is the conviction that wakes you up every morning and keeps you going. Rumi also taught us about conviction through a story. A man asked a stable keeper that he wanted to borrow a horse. The stable keeper told him, "Go take that gray horse." "I don't want that," he replied. "Why not?" the stable keeper asked. "It is restive. It stubbornly moves backwards and refuses to advance. It goes back very hard in the direction of its rump," he said. The stable keeper replied, "Turn its tail towards home." "Here you go. You find a way if your intentions are clear, or, as we say, where there is a will, there is a way. Otherwise, we try to find umpteen excuses to justify our actions or inactions and inevitably put all the blame on the horse. Docile horses don't give in to restiveness. They keep riding straight. The experience of reading this book can manifest a lot of new ideas. However, an idea itself is not conducive to impel actions. Our internal resistance stops us. We need to have a conviction that sparks shrewdness and audacity. Teaching, for me, is not a profession, but a service. It is not always a deliberate action, but a phenomenon. If you look around, every object in the universe has a raison d'être, and its very existence serves the purpose. For instance, the sun exists as a source of energy and life. Its presence radiates benefits. When you are a teacher, guidance radiates from your very existence. The theatrics of education certainly do not demand a rehearsed performance. It occurs as a natural consequence of our interactions. Teaching, for me, is a behavior that resonates with our belief system. As I said earlier, our intentions translate into didactic actions, and so learning happens amid those profound moments that let people to question. It is not dependent on the confinements of a building. It happens while sitting on woven floor mats under the sun. It also happens while resting in air-conditioned rooms or any place whatsoever. In a nutshell, learning does not demand a particular external setting, but a state of introspection. It is this introspection that leads to our well-being. The void inside of us starts to fill up, and we start becoming whole. Now, you can understand what I mean when I say that our well-being depends on believing in the greater purpose of being. Isn't it strange that little words that are generally used to express well-being, like health, holy, and heal, originate from German terms heilig or heilan, meaning whole. En route, the pivotal quest for a sense of purpose, we find ourselves growing whole and complete. So, now you know that nothing has been created but with a purpose. Clearly, you, like every other teacher, have a different style of reaching out to your students. I do not wish to detract from the general validity of your teaching style, but rather to make room for the inclusion of empathy and care. Whether you are the unorthodox John Keating from Dead Poets Society, free-spirited Catherine Ann Watson from Mona Lisa Smile, ruthless Terence Fletcher from Whiplash, disciplinarian Minerva McGonagall from Harry Potter, or the crestfallen Mr. Han from The Karate Kid. You are a great teacher if you can inspire your students. No matter what is your temperament and teaching style, your teaching philosophy and mission defines everything about you as an educator. You must be thinking that you already know all of this. There is indeed volume in what I am saying, and we all know it. But knowing is not enough, and I am asserting that belief is a necessary condition for actions. How much do you believe that your students' emotional well-being is impacted by your philosophy and classroom strategies? How much of your actions are directed towards the inner strength of your students? If you believe, then the emotional needs of any student will never go unidentified. Their development needs will never be ignored, and their hidden potential will never be wasted. We need to have a firm belief that no student deserves anything less than the best. I can also put forth my argument scientifically by clarifying my point with the classic reward and punishment case. What pushes us to the best of ourselves, the fear of punishment or the hope of reward? The best-selling author and expert on motivation, Daniel H. Pink, says on a TV show, "People are more willing to convince themselves of pleasure than they are to convince themselves of pain. And that's a big part of what is it to be human." Numerous clinical trials have been conducted to measure this effect. Studies have shown that when fake pain was induced, people didn't report feeling anything, and it had no effect. However, when a fake medicine or intervention was introduced, claiming to bring them pleasure, even though it was a placebo and nothing was actually happening, they reported feeling significantly better. Some of them reported as having experienced the ecstasy they had never felt before. This is the power of belief. Positive interventions to make people believe that they can do better is shockingly effective and unbelievably powerful. This is what should be included in every teacher's teaching style. Another study has shown that when people were told that a particular smell would make them more creative, they scored much higher in a creative performance test. Where there is no conclusive scientific explanation of how this effect can make actual or physical impacts on the human mind and body, one thing that I know for sure is that it is the power of belief. Hope, not fear, reward, not punishment, can make us feel motivated to do great things. Every single student must be injected with this belief. So, now, when we know this, Why do we not all believe in the possibilities that our actions can create? This conviction is contagious. Let's spread it. Let's spread the belief that hope is a bigger motivator than fear. Everyone has a moment that awakens their understanding of a greater sense of purpose. I pray that, if you haven't already, amidst reading this book, you find that moment. Amin.
If you appreciate the ideas presented in this audiobook, please share it with your friends and family. Also, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. This will help the author to monetize this production. Thank you for your token of appreciation.